Thanks for tuning in. So today I'm going to be talking about NVTS. And I'm going to be talking about this because this is a stock that recently I bought in and sold and made some money short term. Short term just means you buy a stock and you sell it within 12 months. So you can sell it in the same day, or you can sell it the next day. You can take a week, you can take a month, all the way up to 12 months, right? As long as you're selling it under 12 months, it's considered short term. Now, I do talk about long-term investing, and I'm a believer in long-term, and I do that. But I also do short-term because a lot of people just talk about long-term investing, which is very important. Not saying that it's not. Long-term is very important, and I do it. But I also want to make some money now, right? Because I'm not guaranteed that I'm going to be around when I retire. Now, that doesn't mean don't prepare for it, doesn't mean don't save for it. I'm going to save for retirement. I'm going to save for long term because if I make it to retirement, I want to be, I want to have the money to be able to retire and live a good life and have choices. So we want to build wealth and we don't want to be forced if we make it to retirement, right, to have to work and do things that we don't want to. We want to escape the matrix and we want to be able to control our own time and not always have to be dependent on a 9 to 5 or working for someone, right? So it's very important that we're making more than what we're spending and that we're taking the extra money and we're doing smart things with it, like having an emergency fund and save and taking some of that money and making smart investments. But making some investments for short term, nothing wrong with that, right? That way, it could give you an opportunity to take that vacation you want, maybe upgrade your car, do some things as you get better at it. Now, what I'm going to talk about is not easy, right? Short-term trading is not easy. Sometimes you're going to make good choices, and sometimes you may not make good choices. Now, the important thing is, I'm just to understand that I'm sharing my experience. I'm not a professional. So, what I do, what I recommend, doesn't guarantee that's going to work great for you. It doesn't mean you're going to make profits. It doesn't mean any of that. But I like to talk about what I'm doing. I like to talk about stocks and share my opinion, and hopefully you find it helpful. If you're doing short term trading, if you're in the stock market, if you have any questions, down in the comments below, feel free to ask questions. Let me know if you're in the market, what moves you're making, like I'm sharing, right? But I'm talking about NVTS, and right now it's been skyrocketing. One important thing to know is no matter what stock you're looking into, it could be, NVTS like I'm talking about. It could be Applied Digital, which is pretty popular right now. It could even be CoreWeave. Now, one thing that all stocks are going to have in common is they're not just going to go up in a straight line. They're eventually going to have pullbacks, they're going to have dips, so if you see a stock's taking off and it's just going up, 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 eventually it's going to get really hot and eventually it's going to have that pullback. And you don't want to be that person that buys right at the top. Now, it's true. No one can time the market at perfectly, right? We never gonna know exactly when it hit the bottom, when exactly it hit the high, but we can tell at least when a stock's going up, up, up. And if you see, for example, Monday through Friday, this stock is going up every day of the week. It's just going up, 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 up. We can kind of get the idea like, hey, this stock is hot. Eventually, there's going to be a pullback, right? Because all these people that are buying early on, they're going to eventually start selling to take profits. And sometimes the stocks are hyped up based on nothing, on fluff. And what I mean is, social media is popular, it's very powerful, and some stocks are getting, all hyped up for no reason, and people are buying into it, and it's not going to sustain those levels because it just doesn't make sense. And then later you'll see these stocks go down. Look, there was one I think Nmax and it went up to over $200 and it quickly pulled back. Why? Because they just pumped that stock. They made it, they made it sound great. They pumped it, but it wasn't based on anything. But MVTS, I think it's a stock that has potential. It is backed by, I mean, Nvidia has invested in it, so I do believe that MVTS is not a meme stock. I think it's a stock that has potential, but right now it's running up. I'm gonna wait for the pullback, but I recently did buy and made some money on it. I bought it under 7. I bought it in the low sixes. And usually in stocks that are under $10, what I'm trying to do, if it goes up a dollar or two, I'll sell it. And I'm happy with that. And that's basically what I do, especially with stocks that are under 10, under $20. If it goes up a dollar or two, I'm happy. Now, if you're buying stocks that the like CoreWeave, this stock goes right now is trading at $150. I would want to make a little bit more than $1 to a share because the cost of those stock of that stock and stocks like that are a lot higher, right? They're over $100 a share. But when I'm looking at these smaller stocks, I'm looking to with $1 or $2, I'm happy with because I bought a good amount of shares. And that's important to understand when you're buying these stocks, you're going to make your money based on shares. So if you bought 100 shares and it goes up $2, you made $200. Pretty easy, right? If you bought 1,000 shares and if it goes up $2, you made $2,000. And it's easier to buy the larger amounts of shares for most of us when they're trading under $10, under $20. Now, when you're buying stocks that are trading at $100, it could be harder, to get 1,000 shares, 200 shares, 500 shares because it's trading over 100. Now, some of you may say, "Hell, no, I could buy at those price levels." That's fine, but just know when you're buying these shares, 100 shares, 500 shares, 1,000 shares, or one share, whatever the number is for you, the stock can go down. Now, usually, if the stock goes down, what I do, I'll hold on to it if it's a company that I think it's going to recover because the market's always going up and down. So sometimes you may feel like, oh, I bought, I thought the market was going to do one thing, I got it wrong, and I just hold it till I can get out of it. Now, there could be a day that you invest in a company, it doesn't go up like you think, it starts to go down, and you keep holding it, just goes down, down, down. This is more likely to happen on these stocks that are under $10 a share. These companies that you're investing in that are not profitable, right? Now, if you're investing in big boy stocks like Meta, Netflix, um, Google, Amazon, these stocks, if they go down, they tend to recover and recover a lot quickly. So any stock, you're always running a risk, but the bigger stocks, you're more likely not to run this risk if they're the big boys, like I was just talking about Google and things like that. They tend to recover even when the market has bad news and it goes down. But if you're in the smaller ones, they might not recover. Even a big one day might not recover, but they're more likely to recover. The smaller ones are you have a greater chance of them not recovering. But I wanted to share. I'm looking at NVTS. I made some money in it. Now it closed over $8. Let me double check that just to confirm. I believe it was over. Yeah, it closed over $8. Is this thing going to go higher? Right now, I think it's running hot. I think it's going to have a pullback soon. But tomorrow is a big day. We're going to get that CPI report. Also, we got the trade talk, right? Trump is with actually in London talking to the president from China. They're trying to come to a trade agreement. If tomorrow we get a good CPI report and we get good news, if it happens to come out tomorrow, we get good news that the United States and China were able to come to some type of agreement that's seen as a positive way, we can have a huge green day, and then NVTS, in my opinion, will go a lot higher, and there's opportunity there for you to make some money short term. So that's what I'm going to be watching now. If you're wondering, am I keeping an eye on any other stocks besides NVTS? I'm talking more about NVTS because right now it's running hot. I will also be keeping an eye on Applied Digital, APLD. So that's another one I'm going to be. It had a pullback, and believe it or not, I believe this stock's going to go up. And I already bought it. I bought it today, Tuesday, before the market closed. It had a pullback. It's a red day, and I'm thinking tomorrow we may get some good news. Now it's a 50-50, so I'm running a risk. But if it doesn't, if for some reason we get bad news and it goes down, I believe over time APLD will recover and I will make money in the short term. Remember, I got 12 months, but I'm hoping to make it this week. So I'm already in APLD, so I already did that one. I'm gonna keep an eye on MVTC, and I also bought CoreWeave. Now, CoreWeave, um, I believe it's a promising company in the moment. I do believe it's trading a little high because of the hype and everything. So I believe it is going to have a pullback. I did buy this because I believe it's going to go up. Tomorrow if we have positive news, which that's what I expect. So right now I'm in APLD, I'm in CoreWeave. Those are my shorts so far for tomorrow. Hopefully it goes well. I'll let you know if you guys watch my next video. I'll be talking about how that went, but I will in the morning in case I can get in there early and make a little bit of money on NVTS. I may jump and get that one, but already position myself for two, so hopefully I'm able to get out of there tomorrow with some good profits. But remember, just sharing my opinion, not telling anyone to do this, but I like to share what I'm doing, talking about stocks. Let me know if you're doing anything similar down in the comments below if you like. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the video. And also, I really would appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button. That way you're updated every time I upload a new video. Well, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again.